Thank you, Michelle. Secretary Treasurer, Mr. Barker, can you please do the roll call?
Lloyd. Here. Zach. Michelle.
Here.
President Kelly.
Here.
Joseph. Absent. Have a quorum.
Thank you. Next, we have reading, correction, and approval of minutes and phone polls. And for the record, there will be 3 different sets of meeting minutes.
Madam Chairman, I move to approve the minutes of Saturday, May the 21st, 2022.
You have a motion by Lloyd Buffalo to approve the meeting minutes.
Second.
Second by Michelle Newton. Do you have any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Okay. Next, we have a special meeting minutes for Wednesday, May 28th. Do we have a motion to approve those minutes?
Make a motion.
Motion made by Michelle. Do we have a second? Second by Zach Turley. Do we have any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those abstain?
Aye.
2 abstentions. All those opposed? I missed that one. Okay, motion passes by majority. Next, we have special business committee meeting minutes for Wednesday, June 1st. Do I have an approval to accept those meeting minutes?
Make
Or a motion?
Make a motion.
Motion by Michelle Newton. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Lloyd Buffalo. Do we have any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? All those abstaining?
Abstain.
1 abstention. Motion passes. The 2 special meeting minutes that were conducted were for challenges against candidacy, and therefore that's what those 2 were approving. Next, we have the phone polls. I guess we can go down the line like we normally do. Michelle, will you please take the first phone poll?
The first one was the repository acquisition. Just a brief explanation. The Bingham Standard Gravel offers to deed their parcel to the nation for $1 since there's nothing they can do with the parcel with the repository located in property on our property. We have initiated quote requests that the phase 1 work as recommended by the EPA. The phase 1 work can start at the phone pole passes. That is the sorry, I'm trying to adjust to some new readers. I apologize. Poll 2123. Thank you, Zachary. Maybe I shouldn't be reading.
All right, poll 2125, a resolution to finance QSA equipment with John Fabic tractor. This is the purchase of a 2022 Caterpillar 33607 HT excavator. It's already been approved. This is just to approve the financing on that, and it passed unanimously 7.
Poll 2149. This is a poll for a new telephone system for our IT department. The old system we had lacked licensing, tech support. Our older phone system was antiquated. This passed unanimously.
The next one is poll 2268, and it is an acquisition of undivided fee interest in 13 tracts of land. And there was, it was approved across the board.
Next one is poll number 2295. STIPO Director Salary Range Increase, and it passed 6 approved, 1 absent.
Next is poll 2296. It's also for the TIPO compliance specialist, and it approved with 6 and 1 absent.
The next one is the Deputy Director. It's a new job description for the Deputy Director, and it passed approval 6 and 1 absent.
Next is poll 2300 for a TIPO GIS specialist. New job description for that department. And it passed by majority 5 and 2.
Poll 2303, the Quapaw Nation Gaming Agency pay range increase. Poll to set and modify, or sorry, update the salary and wage ranges for our past.
Two 315 is a field engineer job description. And new job description. And it also passed by.
Poll number 2316, Safety and Health Assistant Manager job description. It was a development of a new position, and it passed 6 approval, 1 absent.
Thank you, everybody, for that. Is there a motion to accept the phone polls?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Barker and seconded by Lloyd Buffalo. Any discussion? Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Abstentions? Motion's passed. Next, we have the approval or disapproval of the treasurer's report.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Zach Turley, seconded by Michelle Newton. Any discussion? Without any discussion, all those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next, we have the approval and disapproval of the directors and subcommittee reports submitted.
Second.
Motion by Guy Barker and second by Lloyd Buffalo. Is there any discussion? Without discussion, I'm going to ask for the question. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Next on the agenda is the chairman's report. And the chairman is not here to give that. So we will move on to the accounting report by Mr. Eric Boone.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Got a full house this morning. So for the month of May, the general fund received $2.3 million, bringing our total for the year to $15.4 million. Expenses from the general fund in May were $1.8 million, bringing our total for the year to $16.5 million. Our tribal member health benefits for May were $352,000, bringing our total for the year to $2.8 million. Social services benefits for May were $182,000, bringing our total for the year to $1.9 million. And our education expenses for May, these are like summer semester funding, was $57,000, bringing our total for the year to $677,000. And in May, we received $750,000 in distribution from our QSA Quapaw cattle Food Services, those tribal enterprises, bringing our total for the year from them from 2.15 million. Does anybody have any questions?
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next are the subcommittee reports, and we have the Constitution Committee. Do we have Roman on the line? Next, I was going to Mike, would you like to mention anything about the powwow? I'm picking out committee heads here.
Good morning. Of course, powwow's going to go on July 1st through the 4th, so I guess everybody knows that. So if you can, next week or so, please come and work on your camps. We only got 3 guys working on the grounds right now. And if you can weed eat your camps for them, that'd be great. It'll help out. I think we got some volunteers coming in over the next weekend, and they're going to help. So if you can. Now, some of you are older and can't do it. If you've got some young people in your family that like to weed eat, tell them to come weed eat. It'd be great. Some other important points on this, rations will be given out on Saturday morning. We have some horseshoe tournament, cornhole tournament. Supernovas are having foot races on Saturday morning as well. We have a golf tournament on Sunday. There's a dice tournament up here in the community building on Sunday at noon. Of course, you know, Monday's general council, so we didn't schedule anything for that day. Other than that, we're looking forward to it. We're working long hours. I work a regular job, so I'm working long hours at home at night, and so is my wife and other members of the committee. So yeah, we're about ready to roll it on out. So anything else? Anybody got any questions?
Mike, would you like to mention that something I'm really excited about, July 2nd,
Oh, okay.
5 o'clock?
Yeah. Michelle brought this to my attention yesterday. I had totally forgot about it. We had mentioned it in like the very first powwow meeting. We want to do a group picture of all the Quapaws in attendance. About 5 o'clock. We said the 2nd, right? On the 2nd down at the arena. Just another group photo like we did a few years ago. So if you can, please show up for it. It's going to be warm, so I think everybody knows that. It's already warm. But yeah, so yeah, just a general schedule though is gourd dancing nightly from 6 to 8. Then grand entry at 8 on the 2nd through the 4th. Of course, the first night's always Quapaw night. We will have the adults and teens Quapaw dress and straight dance contest. So that's about all I got.
Excuse me? I have something to say. Did you ever get a head gourd dance?
No.
Why?
Well,
And is that your decision? or is that
yes,
the
that's
committee's decision?
that's my decision.
Why?
For 2 hours a night, I didn't think it's necessary.
Has been for the last 20 years. This is to honor veterans. I don't want to be your head gourd dancer, but guys
No.
like Bill Griffin, people that haven't had that honor, that's an honor. Represents your daddy and everybody else that's passed on as a veteran.
Well, you're
I think
dancing.
it's wrong.
You're dancing. You're a veteran. You're honoring veterans as well. So we're having it. So
Not that we need a head gourd dancer. You ain't got to pay him if that's how your budget.
no. That's not the point.
What's the point?
I've explained this to you before, Henry.
Did?
Yes, I did.
It's
Okay,
in the
point of
file,
order.
that's
We've got
something.
arguing going on. We're going to stop it at this point. It has been brought up in the past as far as why Mike has said he did not want to do it and, you know, you would like to do it. And that's where it lies with who you pick for the powwow chairman committee person. And it might be a good conversation to have at general council. But at this point, from what I've noticed in the last two meetings, I think it's going to be agreed to disagree at this point.
Any more questions? All right, that's it.
All right, thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Election committee, would you like me to speak on your behalf or would you like to just say anything? Do you want me just to make that one statement for you? There's just recently there is a vacancy on the business committee and the election committee has been notified of that vacancy. They have 30 days to call the election and 30 days to have, or no, 60 days, sorry, 60 days to call the date, 60 days to actually have the election. So they are working on that timeline and they will have a notification sent out to everyone as soon as they have it done. So just wanted to give an update on that, but everything else is going good with the election. It will be completely new colors with the special election. So there will be no confusion. There will be different dates, but everything will start over again. And they've already submitted their budget for the special election and we are moving forward. So thank you guys for your work. It's not been posted yet. It's coming. It is a timeline. It's a formula. There's so many dates and calendars and the way it's written, it can get very tricky and you have to back up dates and go forward. And so they're working on it and next week is what they're aiming for. So is it safe to say maybe by Friday, the post should be out? Okay, that's the goal, but there's no promises. So, okay, thank you very much. Are there any other subcommittees who would like to speak? Okay, next on the agenda is new business. And first up, we have resolution 061822, resolution ag lease. Anybody like to read this one?
A resolution to authorize the leasing and use of trust restricted land located under the jurisdiction of the Quapaw Nation for agricultural purposes and to authorize the execution of the lease on behalf of the Quapaw Nation.
We have a motion to accept this resolution.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Barker. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Michelle Newton. Any discussion? That discussion, we'll call for the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Next, we have resolution 61822B.
Chairman, that's a resolution to authorize the sale of the Quapaw Nation restricted interest in Chad in the Cortez and the consolidated number 3 chat pile located under the jurisdiction of the Quapaw Nation. The amount would be $500. The nation owns a minimal amount of the chat.
To approve.
Motion by Mr. Barker. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Newton. Any discussion? Call for the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next, we have resolution 61822C.
This is a resolution to amend resolution number 122921-F to update the lease amount and authorize the use of trust restricted land located under the jurisdiction of the Quapaw Nation for agricultural purposes, and to authorize the execution of the lease on behalf of the Quapaw Nation.
Move to approve.
Motion made by Mr. Barker to approve. Do we have a second?
Discussion. Chairman, in the title of the resolution, the word behalf is spelt wrong.
Okay. Would you like to amend your motion to accept that correction?
Yes.
Do we have a second to approve resolution 6/18/22-C with the correction mentioned?
Second with the correction.
Seconded by Zach Turley. Any more discussion? Without further discussion, I'm going to ask for the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next, we have resolution 6/18/22-D.
This is a resolution enacting the Quapaw Nation Adult Guardianship Code.
Do we have a second?
Move to adopt.
Lloyd made the motion to adopt and it is seconded by Zach Turley. Do we have any discussion? Without any discussion, I'm going to call for the question. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next up is resolution 6/18/22-E.
A resolution enacting the Quapaw Nation Children's Code. Move to adopt resolution 061822-E.
Motion made by Zach to adopt resolution 6/18/22-E. It's been seconded by Lloyd Buffalo. Is there any discussion? Without any discussion, I'm going to ask for the question. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next, we have the 6/18/22-F resolution.
Chairman,
Yes.
that's a resolution authorizing an application to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service for the fiscal year 2022 Tribal Wildlife Grant Program. I would move to adopt.
Got a
Second.
motion by Lloyd Buffalo and a second by Mr. Barker. All those are any discussion? Call for the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Next, we have resolution 6/18/22-G.
This is a resolution authorizing the retention of the conflict counsel. And Madam Chairwoman, I would like to make a motion to table this resolution.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor to table resolution 6/18/22 by Ms. Newton, and it has been seconded by Mr. Buffalo. Is there any discussion? Without further discussion, we're going to call for the question. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes to table this resolution. Next, we have resolution 6/18/22-H.
Also like to move to table.
Motion has been made by Mr. Barker to table 6/18/22-G, and it has been seconded by Zach Turley. Did they say the wrong H? I was like, I had H in front of me, but for some minute I went back to G, so my apologies. H to be tabled. Do we have any discussion? I'll call for the question. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next, we are on to donations. The first one is a donation request for the American Indian Center of Springfield. It's a local-based organization that is serving the needs of Native Americans in the Springfield area. The donations help in the form of a grant or by donating goods and services. It's to benefit a powwow or a benefit powwow. The request is $500, and the American Indian Center is covered under a 501c3 corporation. They've got the powwow scheduled for Saturday, July 23rd in Springfield, Missouri. Are you, I'm not sure. Did we participate in this last year?
Pretty sure we did.
I feel like we probably did, yes. And they are nonprofit. Oh, so is he the one? Did they end up getting a 501(c)(3)? Or is that tricky wording? Okay.
I'll move to approve the donation request.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Barker to approve a $500 donation request. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Zach Turley. Do we have any discussion? Call for the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next, we have a donation from the Broken Arrow Intertribal Veterans Association. Again, this is a powwow that will be held on August 5th through 7th, 2022 at the Broken Arrow Events Park. It's a 3-day powwow. The donation will help with powwow expenses. The sponsorship range is anywhere between $150 to $10,000.
I'll move to approve a bronze sponsorship at $500.
Motion by Mr. Barker
Second.
to make a $500 donation and seconded by Ms. Newton. All those, any discussion? I'm going to call for the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next, we have a donation request from Christine Supernaw, and there was a typo on this one. It is for $500 to promote and preserve the culture of the American Indian and to honor all veterans named after Louis Angel, the last hereditary chief of the Quapaws.
Donate
Oh.
5.
Oh, she's up at the podium. Would you like to speak? I'm sorry. I was told you weren't going to be here this morning at the last minute, so I'm just head down. Go ahead, please.
Sure. My name is Christine Supernaw, and I appreciate being allowed to speak on behalf of the Kahika State Powwow Club in Skytube. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Let's see. We're happy to announce that after an absence due to COVID, we will be having the powwow this July 29th, 30th, and 31st in the same location, northwest of Skytube. The club was started by our great uncle Bill Supernaw in 1969, who was the grandson of Kahika State. We are requesting $500 to help with our expenses. The downstream will continue to have their ad on the inside cover of the program, and I have some that I can show you what the previous ad. And let's see. And we're asking for 500 for donations. Great, and that's it. Just questions.
Move to approve the $500 donation request.
Second.
We've got motion by Mr. Barker to approve and a second by Lloyd. Do we have any more discussion? I'm going to call for the question. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes.
Thank you.
And I believe somebody is here from the Columbus Saddle Club. Hello.
Hi. I'm running for Rodeo Queen for Columbus, and I'm part of the Saddle Club. And I was requesting $750 because I have to make $2,000 in sponsorships. And with this, you guys would get a 4x8 sign that's up for an entire year, listings on a scrolling electronic signage board, 10 tickets, a sponsorship announcement at every event, and listings on the radio handbills.
Is this your first time running for it?
Yes,
Are you excited?
yes.
Are you getting pretty close?
I'm still a little ways, but I'll make
Good.
it.
Good. Very exciting. Very exciting. And you are also our wasn't she the Easter Bunny? Very good. She's a very good
She sure
Easter Bunny.
was.
That's all I'm going to say. So
That was
sorry.
one hot job too.
It was. My apologies. All right. So we have a request up here for she is requesting $750 for sponsorship for the Saddle Club Rodeo. And
Shodio. I seen that in there. Shodio.
It's like a practice for rodeo.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Chairman, I would move to donate $500.
okay, we have a motion by Lloyd to donate $500. Do we have a second?
Okay.
Seconded by Michelle Newton. Any discussion? I'm going to call for the question. All those in favor, say aye.
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 All those opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you and good luck. Next, we have the Santa Fe Indian Market Southwest Association for Indian Arts donation. Their request is for $1,000. It is to the SWAIA Centennial Celebration. The event helps bring Native arts to the world. The sponsorships range from $25 to $5,000.
Is this individual Quapaw? You know,
This is Indian Market in Santa Fe. It's a
random.
very
donation.
large art and fashion market showcase that takes place in August every single year in Santa Fe, New Mexico. I mean, at one time, it was the single largest gathering of Native artisans in the United States. Now, it's political turmoil over the last decade or so on real estate for vendors within the square and whether or not they should or shouldn't be Navajo. But I will reserve my comments on that.
So
I don't see that our participation is necessary. I've been a lifelong attendant of this. I'd move to deny.
Second.
okay, we've got a motion by Mr. Barker to deny the request. We've got a second by Lloyd Buffalo. Do we have any other discussion? No discussion. I'm going to call for the question. All those in favor to deny, say aye.
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 All those opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. To deny. Next, we have the very last donation we have on here is Smoking on the Route. This is a sponsorship request for the Smoking on the Route annual event in Miami, Oklahoma. Sponsorships range from $10,000 to $500. The event will be held July 29th and 30th. It's at the annual Route 66 Heritage Festival. And the bottom sponsorship is called Friend of the Festival. And it includes 2 VIP passes, a vendor booth spot, and listing on the event website. This is through the city of Miami. Called the Miami, Oklahoma Route 66 Heritage Festival. Okay, what we are going to do with this one is we're going to send it over to our casinos and have them take a look and see if they would like to be a sponsorship for it, because it is more pertaining to businesses and not so much governmental entity, more of a marketing effort. So we're going to let that one die. Before we go into closed session, we have the Constitution Committee, Roman, on the line. Roman, would you like to go ahead and give your report?
Yes, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. Sorry I was late. I overslept. So yeah, the Constitution Committee has been working really hard at getting a booklet together for voter to have some informed voter packet together for everybody by General Counsel. We have just received approval to begin working with legal counsel. So we're going to have our legal counsel take a look at it this week. He's going to be attending our meeting on Monday. And that's where we're at right now. So the goal is to have a packet at least in draft form available for everybody to look at, which is going to be 90%. 90% done, minus the I's dotted and the T's crossed legally. And then at General Counsel, we would like some time to be able to share and have a forum for discussion and presentation. And then once we have this looked at by legal, what we're going to ask is for the business committee to call a special general counsel for the specific purpose of making the changes or voting on the items presented in the booklet.
So you're saying that you would like to present at General Counsel, then after that have a special General Counsel to make some changes? Did I hear that correctly?
Sort of. The after part is probably going to be a month or two down, because we're going to need time to notify everybody of the exact purpose of calling a general counsel. So we can't just roll into a special general counsel. We're going to just probably going to need, we're thinking 60 days. I believe the governing resolution and our precedents only require 30. But being that this is a big ticket item, we would like everybody to have additional time and opportunity to make plans if they'd like to attend or get our votes together.
I don't see that being a problem. And I think the 4th of July General Council would be the perfect time to be able to announce that date. We can make that happen.
Excellent. And that's all I had. Does anybody have any other questions?
Yes, Betty has a question for you, Roman.
Thank you.
I was wondering, we have the compensation committee that is going to present at general council as well. And I'm wondering if we are going to vote on salaries ahead of a job description that might be in the Constitution. So that's my question.
Thank you. We need to talk to legal more about this on the correct approach for this. We are presenting some items as far as compensation goes, as far as default compensation and how that's going to work. But we don't have anything hardline yet. What I have been looking at is, since this is the first general council since the previous general council has been called, I believe that the body who made the motion does have an opportunity to amend their motion as it was passed. I think that is our leading option right now to make any amendment. But we do need legal counsel to review the Roberts Rules of Order, because we haven't had an opportunity to amend or object to anything that was created at special general or at general council by general council.
Okay, thank you very much, Roman. Does anybody else have any other questions for the Constitution Committee? Okay, we are good on this end. Thank you, Roman.
Thank you.
Chairman,
Yes.
I would move to amend the agenda to place open forum before closed session.
We have a motion by Lloyd to move to change the agenda to move open forum before closed session. Do we have a second?
Second.
You guys are going to fight over it. Seconded by Mr. Barker. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Before we open it up, at this time, we would like to take a moment of silence to recognize those tribal members that we have lost earlier on in this year. And those names are Kathy King, Barbara Lynn, and Ronald James. So if you can, please take a moment and bow your head with me in a moment of silence. Gunagay. Okay, the floor is open to open forum. Is there anybody who would like to speak? Hello, Miss Abigail. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. It's come to my attention that tribal members do not realize that this is a real nation. We're not a Mickey Mouse organization. They're citizens of a nation. And our business committee has been acting as a government body. Half of them don't understand that, don't grasp that. All of these resolutions are laws that are being passed because we have a tribal court system. For as educated as our people are, they lack education in being who they are. We are not a club, we are a nation within a nation. And as citizens of this nation, you take pride in citizenship for one nation, but not the one that made you who you are. These people up here have to fight every day because all it takes is one act of Congress to take your right to be who you are away from you. I don't think any of you realize that because you've been playing the part-time Indian role. I truly hope that all of you show up to General Council because it is truly time for us to start participating as a nation. And it's time that all of you are educated on your role that you play in this nation. You can probably say the US Constitution and you can recite the Pledge of Allegiance, but you don't even know that you are a nation that the federal government recognizes standing alone. I guess I was raised different to know that we were born with that kind of power. And I only see very few that actually know how to act with that power. I see a lot of you throwing around political parties that do not pertain to you. Your focus should be on your people. And our business committee should be taking care of their people by uniting their people. We can always agree to disagree, and it's right that we all have our own opinion, but we need to remain humble and understand one another. We are not ugly people. We are not jealous people. We are not greedy people. But somewhere along the way, money became a big object. And it took away from people's God-given abilities to take care of one another as a nation. But I really hope y'all read the governing resolution. I hope that you read the treaties, because it's time for you to start being full-time Indians instead of part-time Indians. Your blood doesn't count. That's all.
Thank you, Abigail.
I have a question.
Yes, is it working?
Yes, I was wondering why the downstream employees can't have the things that we discard and we throw away into the dumpsters. A lot of us could use it. And what happened to the new carpet that was out there in the parking lots, and some of it was still wrapped up in foil and plastic, and the padding? They just got rid of a podium not too long ago when somebody was needing that, and they wouldn't let us have it. Let them have it. So
You want to speak on that?
I know that's not supposed to be happening because we've discussed this a while back, that before anything goes in the trash, they need to be I mean, there's a system in place and it's not supposed to be just disregarded, but I will definitely follow up on that because I'm a recycler of all things. And so if I can find it a home, I will find it a home before it goes in the trash. So I will definitely follow up on that.
okay, because like I said, they had them white concert chairs. They just threw all in the dumpsters. They were all still brand new.
There better be a real good reason for that. Yeah.
I will say that my department has been told to not touch anything. You have to have permission to throw it away, and no employees department are allowed to take it.
Right, exactly. It's not supposed to just be freely given away either.
So
Because-
I mean, they bring it to us to throw away, and then we also have to verify with their director, and then
You just come to me. We'll check that out.
Thank you. Anybody else like to speak in open forum? Ms. Weena?
Away. Good morning. A couple questions about general counsel. The first of which really has to do with, let me start here. Last year, obviously, there was a motion made for the compensation committee, and we learned a little bit in that process. So that's kind of the nature of my question. And it's really around who will be the designated independent parliamentarian for GC to help all of us to ensure that our motions are complete, in good form, and something that can be enacted upon in a positive way.
So we've talked about this, and like you said, the formation of the committee itself, it would have been October of 2020, but with the outgrowth of what I would refer to as primary committees, whether that be a constitution committee, election committee, compensation committee, and business committee, the need for, like you said, an objective parliamentarian increases. We, with our general counsel, general legal counsel itself, the firm Whitman Burge, actually have 3 in-house attorneys that specifically specify in parliamentary procedure. They offer services. They're the residing parliamentarians at Choctaw Nation, Chickasaw Nation, their version for sort of their version of a general counsel meeting as well. So we've had these initial conversations with them. Hopefully we can have somebody there to make sure that we have fully enshrined, motions of completeness.
Any concerns about them not being able to be present that day?
Uh,
I'm just looking for Plan B.
yeah, not yet. I mean, we haven't got anything firm back from them, but we do have other options. So
Great, good. Next question, still on general counsel. So we know that, we're all experiencing it, prices for food, gasoline. It seems like everything have gone up quite a great deal in the last year. And so my question is really around, has there been any discussion among the BC members to either reinstate the $100 for elders, the $50 for all other tribal members, waiving the check-in security fee at the downstream, anything of that nature to increase people's ability to participate in general counsel and the powwow without breaking the budgets?
From all I can speak on that, to my knowledge, what we have is the room rates that are available at cost to tribal members. The bottom is $45 for your standard room, and that's what it costs for us to flip it. So that's what we're offering to our tribal members. Everybody is going to get a gas card again as well. That will hopefully, take care of getting to and from. Beyond that, of course, we're going to take care of our elders there. We've got, a gift for them. We're going to be serving breakfast. And just from past experience, when you start giving away prizes and stuff, it has pros and cons to it. And I don't want to, I'm sure everybody has their own opinion about that, but that is what we know so far. So what other suggestions did you have that we might be able to pull off?
Especially that waiving the check-in fee at the downstream, at least for those guests who are staying there. Sometimes that $100 is really, it's a heavy.
Are you talking about for what's it called?
The deposit.
The security deposit?
So
Correct.
this is a tough one, because we have had members in the past where we have historically allowed check-in without a credit card for a security deposit for the room itself. And we've had individuals leave with all the bedding, towels, and all the consumables for the room itself. Winds up turning a $45 stay into about a $500 or $600 stay.
It's broken.
Yes. So
Rooms tore up.
this is a tough one. From that, I understand the $100 is a tough one for some people. Hopefully, and if it's going to be a significant issue, try and contact us. We'll try and find a way to work around it. If $100 is going to break the bank for you, but we will need to figure out some way to secure the room as well.
Great, thank you. I appreciate that. There are a few people that have reached out to me on that particular topic, and I said, well, at least we can kind of bring it up, talk about it, and determine what options there might be. And then my last question on the GC is, my assumption is that it will be restricted to tribal members only. And my question is really around, is there an exception available for tribal members who may have mobility issues, hearing issues, where they need the assistance of perhaps a non-Quapaw member to be able to participate fully that day?
We have had that brought up in the past, and there's not been an issue with somebody's caregiver being there, helping them get around and doing things like that. It was really condensed for COVID purposes, and really trying to make it an in-person meeting, but still be safe about it. So we did put the restrictions there for that, but I do not believe anybody up here would have a problem with a caregiver assisting a tribal member.
Great. Thank you. I appreciate that. Last two questions pertain to Bear. I know that there was the subcommittee on Indigenous Peoples hearing on March the 31st that went really well. I think we got a great update in April. And at that point, Chairman stated, or I'm sorry, I think we learned in that there would be some sort of a language markup process taking place in subcommittee that was expected to be completed by the end of May. I've not seen anything that reflects changes since that time. So I was hoping we could get just a general update about how the Bear Authorization Bill, HR 4715, is moving through subcommittee.
So I was up in DC a few weeks ago and was able to stop in and speak with sort of our legislative representation up there. Our issue managed to get pushed back since we were, I guess, got brought up for hearing. And whenever we got to legislative, losing my train of thought, the committee work week that they had kind of in the third week of May itself, where normally they would have this markup procedure itself. This issue didn't get taken up in committee itself. My understanding is that they almost completely relegated their time to joining with Department of Justice to handle the funding requests from the 5 tribes as well as Quapaw for increased funding for McGirt related prosecutorial needs and law enforcement. There was a petition that we participated in for up to $308 million worth of funding. 62 million was ultimately funded out of that request that would be moving forward to appropriations for this fiscal year. My understanding is that took up almost the entirety of the work week for that Indigenous subcommittee. And we continue to have new communications with individuals within House Natural Resources. Chairman Grijalva's office have started to make themselves more available while we've had not what do I call at length discussion on the mobility of the bill. They are supportive and at least staff within the committee as well. At least former chief of staff or Congressman Bruce Westerman is taking a personal interest in this so that we can kind of keep this as expeditious as possible.
Great, thank you. Any idea when the next markup, I'm not sure I'm saying it right, but the next markup session is scheduled? I'm just trying to kind of have some sort of an expectation.
So my understanding is that there's another committee work week in August. Now this is a House subcommittee bill as well, and this is an election year. There are primaries happening almost every Tuesday in different jurisdictions all around the country. Saw Texas, you had last week, before that you had Georgia. So we have, I would call a disjointed committees and subcommittees right now, where if they are not able to completely convene as a whole body, they start kicking the can. Hopefully, when we can kind of get past primary season into August itself, I think we're going to start seeing a little bit more movement. And then maybe a whole lot more movement before November, depending upon what happens politically. And then we might be moving at the speed of light at the end of December or January, depending upon who wins or loses in office. So unfortunately, House members are on a 2-year term, and we're somewhat subject to their electoral motivations as well.
Is there anything that we can do as Quapaw people to help things move along? I understood what you just said. It's awfully hard when people are focused on home and their elections, newly elected people or re-elections. Is there anything that we can do at this juncture to help move things along, or do we really just need to be mindful of the national political process and move when it really is time?
Well, I like to use the phrase, they don't call it an act of Congress for nothing, but we do need to remain mindful of the fact that generally, these members are focused on re-election. Much of their staff is voluntold to use their time for election-related activity, but I think as individual members, we have the ability to always remain as positive advocates for particularly kind of the general committee itself. So if we look at ranking members, Bruce Westerman would be ranking minority member in House Natural Resources, and then as well as Chairman Grijalva. I think as we can kind of continue to voice or write letters of support for the passage of the bill, this will continue to either motivate them, either by annoyance or by genuine compassion, in order to help kind of make this a priority for them.
Great, thank you. Then my last question this morning, still on Bear. We know that plaintiff group 2, comprised of about 50 some odd people, has legal representation. I'm wondering who the legal representation is for plaintiff group 1, which is about 5,200 of us. I know that the settlement ink has dried for 2.5 years at this point. My concern really comes from known as well as unknown risks as this legislation continues to go through the legislative process and ultimately, whenever, and quickly results in funding appropriated dollars with the Department of Interior. And that's when I get really concerned about those risks, whether I understand them or don't. Okay. And I'm concerned about the lack of legal representation from the majority of us. Any thoughts on that? Is that Witten Burridge?
So there is no active legal representation for group 2 or group 1 at the moment. All of the substantive legal needs of this case are done. Actually, we have a phrase, it's called res judicata, it will not live again, right? And so the issue itself is now purely legislative. And so I don't know what the justification is behind that there's active legal representation for group 2, but that's not true.
Okay, thank you. Gonna go.
Thank you. Weena. Is there anybody else who would like to speak in open forum before we go to closed session?
Just real quick. I just want to make sure and announce Quapaw Kids Camp is coming up. It's July 18th through the 22nd, and it's ages 7 through 18. So I just want to encourage everyone that has young ones, whether they're children or grandchildren, to encourage them to come to Quapaw Kids Camp. It's going to be a fun time. Billy Bertram does a phenomenal job putting great activities together for these kids for the week. So this year it's going to be nice because it'll be in the summertime, so all kids will be out of school and they can participate. So I hope that we just have a great turnout. Again, just encourage your kiddos to come to kids camp, and they're going to have a lot of fun. Also, just want to remind, I'm excited, July 2nd at 5 o'clock. I would love to see hundreds of Quapaws there to take a group photo. I think it's been too long since we've had a group photo. I would love to see it be an annual thing for our powwow. We do have a photographer that Barry has set up. And so July 2nd at 5 o'clock, encourage your family to be there, as many as possible Quapaw, so we can get a large photo. So.
Thank you. Barbara, would you like to speak?
Yes. Good morning, everybody. I have prayed and thought about some of the comments that I'm about to make for about a year. A year ago, last June, as a matter of fact. I would like first to know if there's any update on the hearings and lawsuits for the past business committee members.
My understanding is they have a date on either the 29th or the 30th. 30th. Okay. Of June.
This month.
So it should be in 12 days.
And it has actively been moving, but as you know, it's a process, and that process can be dragged out, if you understand what I'm saying. And that's just where we're at. Is it's moving forward. We haven't stopped, but June 30th is the next date. And that can be viewed online through our Quixota, I believe. No, I apologize. Where can you see it at? Oh, no, the docket. The dockets is what I'm referring to, are online, so you can look those up as well.
Yeah, I understand that the wheels of justice move very slowly, and that's true. you know, my department at the time worked on this for many months on these issues, some of them. Your hands are tied by rules and regulations. And you all know that I'm a very rule-oriented person, have been my whole career. If there's rules there, they need to be followed. You need to be honest. You need to be forthright. You need to be truthful, which we always continue to try to do. There were rules that were set up by the former business committee and the DDA and QCA that they had to follow, as well as the rules that were set up by the National Indian Gaming Commission. That would be my next question. Has this committee ever contacted the National Indian Gaming Commission about their investigation?
We've been in constant communication with NIGC for the last 9-10 months. We have frequent meetings with them. The nature of the discussion I cannot divulge because it's apparently discreet. I can imagine
Yes.
quasi-criminal in nature.
The National Indian Gaming Commission reached out to me and I met with them in private in Joplin at a public location, public library. At that time, I asked them if anyone from the business committee had reached out to them to ask questions about the investigative questions that they asked. And they told me no. So the months may be overlapping there, they may not be. I don't know when you're saying that you kept in contact with them.
We've had committee representation in front of them multiple times at their Tulsa office.
Yeah. Well, they questioned me thoroughly about situations and things that were going on and happening. And we answered honestly as we could, and told them what we knew, what we didn't know. Again, there were things that rules and regulations that they passed, that they had for themselves and their organizations and their groups that were above and beyond the rules and regulations that my department regulated. I know that sounds confusing, but we had regulations that we had to go by. And then they made their own regulations that maybe or may not have gone by what was set up by the government. Now, in last June 2021, I was called to a meeting by the business committee. And don't get me wrong, I felt as though this business committee was a breath of fresh air following the committee that we had previously. And it started out that way. But I was called to a meeting and there I was engaged and accused of many things that didn't happen according to their opinions. There were reasons, but I wasn't given an opportunity to give the reasons. I was accused of not doing things and taking care of comps and things like that. When the DDA had their own comp session set up, that wasn't the rules that I had to abide by. That was their rules, and their rules they got to complete. There were people on that accusatory committee that could have done something about it because they were business committee members or they were DDA members or past DDA members, and they didn't do anything about it. It wasn't my department's job to do something about it. It was their department's job to do something about it, and they didn't. They chose not to, but I was accused of not doing it. I did know it was happening. Not at first, but I did know it was happening, but it was the DDA rules and they were following them. So there wasn't anything that I could do legally about it. I was also told that the meeting wasn't set up to chastise me, but it was very apparent that it was, with some of the members sitting there with their heads down at the floor, not looking ashamed, and they should have been. Then I was put on administrative leave with pay. And then by the end of September, I was told that I either had to resign or I would be terminated. I was given no reasons. They did tell me that that I was on the list of investigation, that they wanted all the documentation from between me, my department, me and John Barry. And I was gladly to submit that because I have nothing to hide, still don't. But no opinion of mine, no chance or opportunity to defend myself, because it was very much like a court, like a question and answer with me not getting the answer. And I just think that it's time that the truth comes out. I'm a very truthful person. I don't feel like that this was fair. Then they wanted to throw me a party for retirement. They wanted everybody to think I retired, which I did not. But actually, I'm glad I've enjoyed my time off, not having to get up every day and go to work and worry about something that was going on that was wrong. However, there are people there, there are other people from the tribal members that have lost their positions, lost their jobs. They, one of the reasons I feel, my opinion is, they hired a lot of ex-Cherokee employees, and you all know that, you're aware of it. And I'm not saying they are or aren't doing a good job, but they hired those people. They didn't want to follow the rules that we had in place. Some of them, they wanted to change them all immediately. Well, I'm all for change and upgrading things, and was in my career, but it takes time. You can't just come in there and change it overnight. You need to think about it first and think about the things that are going to happen, the snowball effect. So I just want everyone to know that I've been Quapaw my whole life. I love my Quapaw people, and I think you all know that. Anybody that knows me knows how I am, and that I'm fair and honest and trustworthy as far as I know. My parents were, they taught me that. They taught me good ways to live. And I just felt like it was time that it came out. Like I say, I've prayed about this for almost a year now, and people have been telling me that it's time to tell the truth. And so that's why I'm here today.
Thank you, Barbara. If you don't mind, I'd like to just give a little response myself. If everybody was listening, you heard some of the things that were discussed in our meeting with her. There are two sides of the story. This is a personnel issue. I feel like it's been kind of opened up, but I'm not going to do that. A decision was made. Our regulator did not regulate to where we needed to be regulated at. And I'm going to just leave it at that and not elaborate anymore. I'm glad that you had a chance to get that off of your chest, and I'm sorry that you feel this way and it is still bothering you. I really am. But that's not true. And you were sitting with the board because you're a director who reported directly to the board. And a process was followed, and you also had the opportunity to dispute that process. Does anybody else have anything they would like to say? I'm sorry. Sir, we're on a point of order. We're discussing another issue right now. 1 second, please.
I would just like to respond that comments indicated we were replacing Quapaws with Cherokees. I don't know that any Quapaw has been replaced by a Cherokee. My knowledge, I'm not aware of it. We do not handle personnel matters. I use the word indicated.
But personnel issues are personnel issues, and it's unfortunate. And I would love to have more Quapaws sign up and work for our people. but there's not very many out there who are willing to come work with us. We're trying to change that. So if you have anybody who's wants a job, we've got plenty of openings. Please send them our way. And, you know, we have all discussed that as well. And we have to take into consideration, we have and we are looking at all of our job descriptions across the board in every entity. And it takes time. Not only does it take time, but the research and COVID and the numbers and the increase of salary is phenomenal. You go from minimum wage of $7.50 up to $16, and that's really not sustainable when you want to talk about, you know, the economy. And we've looked at things as far as, you know, maybe not giving a benefit packet, but instead of paying for that benefit packet, give them more money per hour. And then, you know, because a lot of people around here are Native and they can go to IHS, so they don't need insurance and that's what they want. So we're looking at different ways to make it happen, but it has to be sustainable. It can't be something you go in there and you pay $20 an hour for a minimum wage job that you can't take back later. Once you put it there, it's there. So, you know, we're aware of it. We're doing other incentive programs to try to entice people to come work for us. You know, Downstream's got a lot of benefits people don't even know about, you know, even like a free clinic or, you know, their cheap meals or, you know, they do all kinds of stuff for their employees. They've got daycare, et cetera. And it's a work in progress, but we do know that is a problem. It's a problem getting workforce in here. It's getting better, but not only us, but everybody is struggling with the same problem. And we all have to simmer down. Yes, we would love to give everybody, you know, a whole bunch of money. We really would, but we can't afford that. Not yet.
We also are blessed to give them every employee benefits from a quarterly bonus as well, which is based on our EBITDA and how well, if the business succeeds, everyone succeeds. And that's been a really great asset as well to every employee.
And they're working on that as well. They're working on getting stuff put together to do that. So it's all in the works, but that's great ideas.
It is. It's made abundantly clear to applicants, actually. I mean, if we pay very competitive rates, we are not wildly shorthanded. Actually, we're very good on workforce. Our employee retention compared to localized markets has been far above average. I yield a lot of that to one, our benefit suite, which we understood for a while. Actually, the offering of benefits was sort of our biggest handicap. These individuals were not willing to take lower pay instead. So it took a lot, and surprisingly, a lot of work in order to amend our cafeteria plan and have the option so that we can have cash in lieu of benefits. Individuals working at fast food restaurants do not have comprehensive benefits, 401k, you know, access to free medical care, as well as, you know, a profit-based, you know, quarterly bonus. And nobody flipping burgers at Carl's Jr. is getting a piece of the pie at the end of every fiscal quarter. That doesn't happen. So if we weren't competitive, that place, you know, Downstream would be completely empty. It would be manned by cobwebs, but it's not. We're doing very well. We're flourishing and actually do very, very good in terms of labor retention. We're competitive in that space. We continue to be so. We will be in the future. You know, we man a staff of over 1,100 people there on that property. I mean, from a standpoint of job openings and titles themselves, we've got individuals that are transient employees at best would be the best way to describe it. But, you know, openings are frequent occurrence whenever you have a business that operates over 1,000 employees.
Okay. Your question, sir? Well, I can tell you right now, that is a very fluid number. I just got done signing papers on one piece of property, and we've got 3 more properties that are coming up within the next week or 2. We are doing our best at buying up as much land as we can, even the land that we do have. Some of it is divided interest, some of it is whole, and it is scattered all through our jurisdiction. It's actually, we are in the works of growing. We are in the process of trying to get grants to build that department, and we're working on a group of laws. But if you're going to put fishing and hunting out there, you've got to have somebody who can regulate it. So now we've got to get the regulation department put in place. And also, like, going back into it, we've got to make sure we have the money to do that. So we're actively working on it. We're also working on, looking at possibly our lands over in Pitcher and how we could maybe try to fix the pollution over there and bring back the wildlife. It's just, we have a lot going on in our area. Yes, it absolutely is. Well, and I'm not going to open up discussion on what I know about that, if you know what I mean. But yes, we do know it is a problem. It is on our radar. We are working on it. We just reviewed some laws the other day, and we had there were some things that we did not agree with that we're not ready for. So it's a growing process, but we are actively working on it. You are absolutely correct. And some of it's farmed, some of it's, shared. It's a checkerboard patchwork, what we have going on, but we're trying to turn it all one color. Yes. And we need somebody to say, yes, you can fish, you can hunt, you can gather, you can, and no, because, some people's property around here, it doesn't belong to the tribe. So yes. Yes. From there and backwards towards the processing plant. Yes. And there's some across the road, and it's everywhere. And we have no regulator and no laws. I know, but we're working on it. It's been
To my
typed up.
knowledge, that the people that were hunting that behind that are not working there anymore. I don't think there's anybody. There better not be anybody going back there hunting at this point in time.
You let us know.
So,
Is it safe? I mean, the land's contaminated, so is it safe to hunt and then eat they eat off that land, I'm just curious.
I think the one thing with that, Betty, with your question is, like, the main thing you'd have to look at is you have to have some kind of regulation on how people go in there. Because if you just open it up to a free for all, you'll have somebody in every tree shooting at each other.
Right,
And I mean,
somebody
it'll
will
just
get
be a
shot.
nightmare. So you're going to have to, something we got to work on is trying to figure out how to put some type of a,
That's what all of it's in the works. That's kind of at the bottom of the to-do. First, we've got to get the regulator, then we got to get the laws, or get the laws and the regulator at the same time, and then just, go from there. So we'll have to follow back up with our legal to see where we're at on that. As far as the law part of it, the regulation.
I think that I think a lease is going to wind up destroying the incentive that you're talking about, having public access, or public hunting access to tribal members. So
I agree.
yeah, I agree.
And that's why we're not pulling the trigger on this really quick. We want to make sure it's done correctly. That's neat. We got a handful. We'll stick Zach on it. He's an avid hunter. You? All right. Thank you. Anything else on that?
actually.
Are we still on the same subject?
I'm about to change it.
Oh,
I don't know who was first. I don't know who was at the mic first.
I was still with that one. If we are reservation lands and there's technically 96 miles of reservation lands, explain to me why you're assuming that state law applies and how you are paying for land that is rightfully ours. Or did, because of the lawsuits, did you just fork over the land for the little bit of money?
I'm not sure what you are does anybody know what she's talking about?
On the laws, like a while back, I can't remember the exact month, we passed what's called a simulative code. So it allows law enforcement, game wardens, any of that stuff to adopt from other codes, because we did have, when that McGirt decision happened, we had holes in our tribal code as far as laws go, that for game animals, things like that. So when we enacted that simulative code, it allows them to pull from the state or federal laws to enforce those codes in lieu of ours if we don't have one for that.
You go ahead, Guy.
The criminal fish and wildlife codes of Oklahoma itself would not apply to Native members within Quapaw Reservation, period. Now, of course, we had to spring into action and do something, like we said, in a simulative code, because people out poaching deer, poaching cows, doing all kinds of things within reservation lands itself, and they're technically not breaking the law. So this is some of the growing pains that have come kind of with the decision itself, and this is something that we had to address. Now, in terms of an entire framework on this moving forward, this is a Department of Public Safety and law enforcement that we've never had in the past, and it is extraordinarily specialized and nuanced. You know, we have to actively work on wildlife population, setting limits, having draw tags or blind tags in certain areas as well. You know that we may have individuals that'll, hunt and kill and eat deer or duck, in the picture area, and they turn out just fine. But, look at my family, and we all have cancer. So not everybody's made equally. We also don't understand the full environmental impact of it without studying it. And unfortunately, all of these things require funding, which is exactly why midway through this agenda today, we're continuing to apply for grants so that we can get resource studies and make sure that we have at least, subsistence wildlife out here that is clean and safe to eat, as well as, land position and a framework set up so that we don't have hunters, shooting across the field at one another. You can see what it looks like whenever you have unregulated hunting activity. We had an incident down in Fairland just a couple of months ago. Young boy was kind of shooting at a coyote across the field, but he shot back towards Fairland itself, and bullet went into the home, struck a child. Actually, our fire and EMS guys actually got over there in time to save the kid and did an excellent job of it. But this is exactly the kind of stuff that we need to try and prevent, but it's going to require time, effort, resources, money. This is all things that we're actively working on that we can't snap our fingers and make it happen tomorrow.
Another point of, you are a government body and not just a business committee of a club.
Agreed.
And on that note, just a quick question. I'm sure will probably be answered at General Counsel, but if we don't owe anything on Quapaw Casino and we only get a certain amount, what are they bringing in each year that could actually be coming into programs for tribal members? Just throwing that out there.
Currently, they do give a set amount to us, but their extra money that they do not give to us is going into their piggy bank. And we just got done doing a feasibility study on Quapaw Casino to get them a new facility closer to the road. So that money right there is going to get us out of that hazardous building, which I'm not going to elaborate anymore on that. And it is debt-free right now. So we do have that money there, but that money.
But not all tribal members can work in the casinos, and there should be more jobs available to them.
They're looking at expanding it more to being, it's not really going to be a casino. They're looking at it being more along the lines of maybe a gas station. There has been other ideas that I don't want to put out there just yet to add into it, to make it more of a casino with other side stuff. Maybe put our coffee in there, maybe even put our beer in there. I'm not sure. But we're looking at it, and the money that they have would go towards building that.
Okay.
Betty?
Okay. I just want to back up for a minute and go back to what we are charged, the $45 a night at the downstream casino. First of all, I really want to thank all of you for that, because for me, I travel here all the time, and that was such a blessing for me. And I take the extra steps. I think I leave my room cleaner than I found it, to be honest. I mean, I wash down everything because I'm that appreciative of getting that rate. But my question is, did the rules change with the deposit? Because every time I make a reservation and they try to charge me $100, we have that little conversation. And it's not that I can't pay it, but I just don't want to. I don't want my money tied up for that amount of time. And so is that a rule now? Have the rules changed and we do have to leave a deposit? Because it ties it up for 10 days. And again, it's just kind of an irritant for me, basically. But
just few ruined it for many.
And it is a rule now that we do have to leave the deposit.
I am strongly for that for several reasons, because I think for far too long, we've let, unfortunately, those that have ruined it for all, because that is such a gift to get at the cost, and that cost is to flip the room. We've lost a lot of money because of tribal members tearing it up or stealing things. And I personally, I mean, I don't know if it's actually been written in stone, but I personally am going to bat to say absolutely we're doing that, because I feel like if you go anywhere in the world and get a hotel, you're going to have to pay something. You're going to have a deposit,
Well, I basically argue with all of them.
I know. I don't like it either, but
Do you ever win?
Always.
You do?
I do.
Oh no.
But I'll stop arguing because I do.
Now, if there's ever a time you don't get your $100 back, you let us know.
Right.
Okay.
Let Michelle know.
Okay.
You let me know.
And again,
But
thank you for the $45 a night rate. I appreciate it so much.
And on that note, if I may add, I visited with the directors and assistant director of the hotels recently, and I was kind of discouraged after I visited with them, because I don't know who they are, but I know that we have a lot of local tribal members that have, when it was put out that the hotel is specifically reserved for our tribal members for powwow during General Council Week and powwow. We had several really local tribal members that just grabbed lots of rooms, anywhere between 5 and 10. And I'm okay with that if you have family coming in, and you can put a name on that room. And I believe that name needs to be a tribal member name, because that's the reason why you're getting the $45 rate. So, if you have 10 rooms and you live down the street from downstream or right down the street from the powwow, please think about it, because it instantly filled up and we still have a lot of tribal members calling and we have no rooms. So if you just get it because it's, I don't know, I just find it interesting that you want it for 5 nights when you live just down the street. And that's okay. But please, if you think you need 5, 10 rooms, please be willing to give a name of who's going to be in those rooms, because we know you can't stay in all 5 of those rooms. So that's been a problem. And so I think it'd be, very kind that you please give a name of each person that's going to be in that room. And I say that because in the past few years specifically, those same people have done the same thing. And then the night of or the next night saying, oh, I don't need those rooms anymore. Well, we've lost a lot of money. And again, we're all trying to save money and we're doing a huge favor. And I'm thankful that we're able to reserve that week for our tribal members. But also please don't take advantage of it. And, again, I don't know names. I just know that they're discouraged because they have a lot of people calling that are traveling in that cannot get rooms. So if you need the rooms, great, but please give a name. And also it was brought to my attention that some of the rooms of some of these individuals, there's going to be a tribal child and they don't want to give that tribal child's name. Well, I know they're minor, but it's not like those names are going to be given out. Just want to be able to show proof that when whoever's bringing them, they have their card to show that it is a tribal member. It's just being honest and being fair. And I just wanted to throw that out there. So thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody else have anything to say for open forum? There is some exciting news I want to share really quick. Barry, very creative man, has helped us in creating some new Quapaw apparel. So we're going to have some new types of t-shirts and hats and other types of things in our gift shop. Right now, it is in Downstream's gift shop. And next Wednesday, we are expanding our stuff over here at the museum. So we'll have 2 locations where you can get, the new style Quapaw shirts. We've got polos coming in, just all kinds of really neat stuff. So look forward to that. I'm excited. He did very well. So thank you. Okay, so if we don't have anything else for open forum, we're going to go ahead and move into closed session at 10:51. Okay, we are going to go ahead and call the meeting back to order. It is 12:01. And Secretary Treasurer, Mr. Barker, will you please give a synopsis of what was discussed in closed session?
The business committee met in closed session to discuss a number of enrollment issues. Some were individual tribal enrollment issues related to bureaucratic error. And others were issues related to namely CDIB issues.
Thank you. And next, we are going to go to benediction. And Mr. Turley, will you please say that for us?
Heavenly Father, thank you for allowing us to speak. Everybody as they travel home. Things.
Amen.
Madam Chairman, I move to adjourn.
Got a motion by Louis to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, second by Guy. All those in favor? Yep.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Adjournment. Thank you. Want to.